I'm totally blind, which means I have no sight at all, and I was diagnosed with bilateral retinoblastoma at 12 weeks old.
The day after diagnosis, I rang up Vision Australia and burst into tears to the first person who answered the phone saying my baby's going to be blind, and they took over from there. They've been just wonderful with all sorts of services, from early childhood education services from when he was 3 months old. Also orientation and mobility, which he would have been lost without, especially when he went totally blind in his kinder year. He was able to learn to get around with a cane and get around confidently and successfully.
My orientation mobility, or O&M, she usually helps me orientate around my high school and in certain parts I might not know. Vision Australia have helped me with my tactile viewing, I guess. It provides braille and tactile books.
Vision Australia have helped Sam with technology throughout both preschool and leading up to school, and now throughout school.
They have helped me learn how to use my braille note, which is like a small laptop for blind or visual impaired people, and so they have basically helped me learn how to do basic functions on that, including creating Word documents, reading books, searching the internet, sending and receiving emails. I'm a bit of a walking encyclopedia because I like reading about TV shows, song lyrics and songs as well. I like reading about certain singers and musicians. I like reading about pretty much anything that interests me, and I like also going on to websites I hear advertised on the radio too.
So he can partake in regular school activities the same as the other kids can, which is what he definitely needs to be able to do.
Living with blindness is not the end of the world. It's not catastrophic. It's pretty much the same as living with vision, except the only difference is you have a disability, but that is no reason why you should not be able to do anything that anyone else can, and it's no reason why you should stick out and be a target of bullying and also not have many friends, because blind people should have the same abilities and advantages as everyone else.
I realised I had sight difficulties about 20 years ago. I was at a hotel. My daughter's boyfriend was there, and twice I knocked wine over. He said, "June, don't you like me?" I said, "Of course I do." He said, "You've got problems with your sight. You don't see at the sides." And I said, "Who sees at the sides?" From that point, I went to see a specialist, and yes, I had a condition known as retinitis pigmentosa, and it's a narrowing of the field. I can see usually people's faces beautifully, from their eyebrow to, say, their chin, but I have to move my gaze all over the person to check them out completely, and I can handle that. I'm able to use my useful vision by looking at a photograph. In fact, I can cut my nails, do some very fine motor skills. Sometimes I have a problem with the general public not understanding RP, and that's understandable because once upon a time I didn't know about RP and what it involved. The only thing I find very disappointing is when I'm out and about using my white cane and in a relaxed state, sometimes I might want to look in a shop window to see something, and I can almost feel the surrounding public thinking, "Hey, she's got a cane, she's supposed to be blind, she's looking in a window." But in fairness, I may have done that once. So education or informative sessions is paramount as far as I'm concerned. Vision Australia helped me tremendously with all of the ideas that I was encountering, just simple things that I never thought about once, like wearing a large brim hat and glasses, because then I'm not subjected to branches hitting my head, and I also wear safety glasses when I'm pruning because I don't see the rose bush coming out. I also have thought of a little trick with my tools that I use, my little shovels and spades. I have this huge long colourful ribbon on the end of it so that when I'm piling leaves and things and pulling out weeds, it doesn't get lost. I can always find my ribbon and tug it towards me. Among the many things I have had difficulties with, it's been something as simple as Not being able to use my computer because of frustrations, I only need to contact Vision Australia and say, hi there, it's June. Can you fit me in? Such and such, this is what I'm experiencing, and there's not a problem in the world. We'll send a technician out. That can be solved. We can adapt your computer to suit your needs. I was rather thrilled with this. An appointment was made, a very nice gentleman came out and adapted my computer so I can use it much more effectively. And I have this lovely big pointer, so I have no trouble with that. I love going to the theatre, but it was becoming so embarrassing. I'd go to sit on somebody's knee, and can you imagine trying to explain that? It became such a difficulty that I stopped going to the theatre. Even with the help of my friends, I felt I didn't want them to feel responsible for me. So I mentioned this to the O&M. She said, June, we can deal with this. I can get in touch with the theatre and see what he says. The theatre man or the manager was very obliging. He opened up the theatre without anyone being there. He obliged us with lights on, lights off. We went into theatres with my cane, counting steps, going along the aisle, showing me to feel the seat in the back, and I placed myself beautifully in the seat now, not on somebody's lap, which is much better for me and not embarrassing. I like going out at night, but because it's dark, it intensifies my anxiety level. And until I mentioned this, the O&M came out at night to ensure that I was going to be able to get in and out of cars, because before that I was sitting in the driver's seat, I was sitting in the back seat, I'd get in back to front, and it was all very, very strange and ridiculous. So here I was with the O&M, my partner and the car. She showed me some really magic things that I just didn't have the sense to think about myself, and now I'm much more streamlined. Now I can get in and out of cars at night in a very ladylike fashion.
I've been involved with Vision Australia for the last 30 years since I've been diagnosed with RP. I've lost 98% of my sight, which I only now can just detect light. At the age of 12 till I probably was about 30, it was very minor, just short-sighted, and I was getting more tunnel vision. It deteriorated really, really quickly, which now I've only got no sight at all, only seeing between during the day and dark at night. I've been dog washing for about 10 years, probably one of the longest jobs I had since I lost my sight.
I've had customers come in and have asked me, is that man blind? And when I turn around and say, yes, he is, they go, I would never have thought so. They've said, for 6 months or 12 months or 2 years, I've been coming in here, watching that man work, and never thought that he was unsighted, because he doesn't act unsighted.
It's almost being born again when you lose your sight, so you got to start it all fresh. If you're sort of down in the dumps a little bit, you can speak to a case manager. You tell them what you need to be done around the house. With your stove, so you know where high, medium or low. So they put dots around the button. But without them, I probably wouldn't have gone this far, I suppose. And that's the honest truth. Well, Leon is my black Labrador. He's just about turning 9. When he's walking and taking me around, he's just a guide dog. But when I bring him back home, I take the harness off, and he's just like a normal dog.
Leon just changed things for him. It gave him independence. He was able to get around. He was able to catch the train. Before that, I'd go down and pick him up from home and do a lot more hands-on sort of stuff. But once he got Leon, he got his independence and was able to function basically as anyone else did.
One time we're at a park. I was behind a kid. He was eating, it could have been a hamburger. As I walked past him, he snatched that out of his hand. Also, that's actually happened at a supermarket where a little girl had one of those ice cream cones. So I was walking past and Leon's head high. The girl sort of had it sort of sticking out a little bit, and he just walks past and it just takes the top of it, and which is quite good. But I had to apologise to the lady.